Hi, this is Connie from Connie's Nails and Creative Creations. Today I'm taking part in Heidi Sonboul's Easter DIY Challenge. I hope you guys enjoy these 3 DIYs that I'm doing today. So let's get right into these projects. Okay, today I'm going to make an Easter wreath. Now that was a bow that I made a couple of weeks ago for a bow tutorial, and here's all of the items that I'm going to be using. So those 2 white ones are leftovers from 2 other wreaths, and this is a wreath form, a 14-inch from the Dollar Tree, and everything else is also from the Dollar Tree. So I am cutting these at just over 7 inches each. I'm doing the small white and the large white, and I get 7 each is all I get out of the white. Now I have 4 spools of the purple, and it's mainly going to be a purple wreath with white scattered in it. So I'm going to cut all the purples as well. So I'm just doing just a little bit over 7 inches on each one of these. And I'm not cutting them all out at once because I would have a huge mound of purple deco mesh. So I'm taking 2 of these and I'm just rolling it up, and then I'm going to tie them in the center with a chenille stem. Now I've got some white there, green or blue, yellow. I use all those, and then I have to start using paddle wire, which is fine, and it doesn't matter the color because when you're done you can't see. Now I've got this turned over upside down, and I'm only twisting it around the 2 center wires, not the inside and not the outside. So I'm just putting them through, twisting them a little bit, and then I just move on. Now I end up doing 3 purple and then 1 that has 2 purple and 1 white. So I go around the whole wreath form in that pattern. Now you can see the pattern that I'm doing. This is the last section, and you can see the mess of all of those chenille stems and the wire in the back. Now how I handle that is I kind of twist them together and make sure that all of the ends are poking down. And here I am, you can see I'm just twisting it and making sure that there's no sharp edges. Now I'm just fluffing it up, just so that I can figure out where I want this bow at. Now, like I said, this is a bow I made on my bow machine a couple of weeks ago for a bow tutorial, and I planned on using it for this. So if you want to know how I made it, you can go and pull up that video and you can watch it, and I can send a link or leave a link in the description box. Plus, don't forget to check out the description box. It will have Heidi's channel, the playlist, and a lot of other information on there. So here I am just figuring out exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to use those. I had to hook another piece of wire on, and I'm just going to hook them right through the back side, and I'm just going to twist it just like I did the others, and curl those ends as well so they don't scratch the door or anything like that. Now that the bow's all attached, I'm just going to poof up all those loops, make sure that all the tails are exactly where I want them to go, and then this I'm going to hook on a little bit of a jute loop on the back to hang it, and this beautiful wreath is done. I hope you guys like it. The second project is a wooden cross that I have had for many, many years. It's just sitting in a box. I finally decided I was going to decorate it for Easter. Now I am mixing up some gray, and I'm going to paint the base to make it look like cement. So I'm just painting it just all the gray color, and then I've got some white there, and I'm just going to start mixing it in, and I'm going to be pouncing it on. First I'm going to kind of go in lines, and then I'm going to start pouncing it on to where it ends up looking exactly like cement after when I'm completely done doing the whole technique on this. And I go over it many, many times because I pounce it on, and then I kind of swipe it back and forth, pounce it on, swipe it back and forth until I get it looking the exact way I want. Now I grabbed Waverly Antique Wax, and this is by Plaid, and I am a Plaid ambassador. And if you go on my description box, you will find the link to my link tree and all my items that I use, plus all my Plaid items is in there, and you can go right to my Amazon storefront from there. So I'm just putting this antique wax on, and then I'm using a paper towel and I'm rubbing it back off, and it gives this beautiful weathered rustic weathered look to the wood. And I really like this antique wax. I just barely started using it, and I really like it. And I did the front and the back because I didn't want you to be able to see it at all if it got turned or anything. So now what I'm going to do after I dry it with my Darcy heat gun is I'm going to start adding some florals. Now all these florals come from the Dollar Tree, and I wasn't sure if I was going to use, I have one little sprig with white, and I wasn't sure if I was going to use it. I ended up not using that one at all. I only use the purple. So I'm just going to like do a spray on the bottom of the stand. Somehow I lost the footage of me putting it on, but here is a final look of what it ended up looking like with all the flowers on it, and I hope you like it. Okay, now on to DIY number 3. This is a little truck that I got from the Dollar General, and I'm just going to, grabbed a bunch of pastel paints that I have, and I'm just going to start painting them. Now I love, my favorite color is periwinkle, and it's a purple blue. So purple and blues are my favorite colors, and I just felt like this little truck needed to be a purple truck. So it's just acrylic paint, and I do one coat, plus I just kind of go over little areas that didn't get quite full coverage. I go around the edges of this, and I just make sure that it is all completely covered. And the paint dries really fast, and there I am doing a little bit of the second coat, and that's it. Now I'm grabbing a little bit of blue, and this is a soft blue, and I'm starting to paint those eggs. Now I paint one in yellow, one in blue, and then one in pink. So I'm just painting that, and then I'm going to do the next color, and have to save that paint. I save any paint I can. I guess maybe it's because I've been an artist for so many years that that's just what I do. Now here I'm doing the middle one. It's going to be pink, and then the third one will be the yellow one. So I'm just gonna grab that yellow and gonna go ahead and put the yellow onto that last little egg, and then I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to do the tires next, and I'm just going to do them black, and I'm just going to freehand. Sometimes I use things to make sure that I get exactly perfect. but I usually don't. So I'm just going to freehand around those tires to make them look the way they're supposed to look. And I just kind of go around, and then I check and see if I need it a little bit rounder, a little bit bigger. And that is all. That is that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. And you can tell the purple is down further because I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of room to do the black and not have to go back with any purple. So I'm just working at getting all those tires completely done. And then I'm going to grab some white and mix it with a little bit of that purple. And I'm just going to do highlights on the truck. So like on the wheel well and everything. I'm just making little highlights. I wanted to make sure that it looked like a real truck rather than just a flat painted. I wanted it to have some dimension, and that's, to me, that's how you do it, is highlights, lowlights, and you give it dimension. So I'm putting a little door handle with that black, and now I'm taking the green. It's like a sage, mint green, and I'm just gonna go all over this whole stand. I'm gonna do around all the edges, and then I've got a darker green that's a Kelly green, and I'm going to paint down that center groove with that Kelly green, and just fill that in so that it looks like a shadow under the truck. So once I get that done, then I'm going to glue the truck in there. And like I said, acrylic paint dries really fast, and acrylic chalk paint dries even faster. So I'm going over it, making sure I get it all. There's no spots left, and I realized I hadn't gone around the inside and the outside of the tires with the black, so I'm going ahead and putting it there. And that black is my chalk paint that I make. And if you're interested in the and that's the white chalk paint that I made. If you're interested in the recipe, it's just 2 parts paint, 1 part ground up chalk, and a little bit water for consistency, if it's too thick or whatever. So now I'm using some wood glue, and then I'm going to use some hot glue, and just, that thing is really tight in there. I just wanted to make sure it was super tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm taking these little blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gluing them together in a square, and then I'm going to put them right on top of right on that stand by the door. And I know it's off-centered, and I'm going ahead and using that same green, and I'm just going to cover that so it kind of disappears in a way, so you don't really see where it's at. And then after I get done doing any touch-ups, I could see some areas where the wood was poking through, so I wanted it to be completely opaque and covered. So I'm just going over that so I make sure that it's all nice and covered. Now I'm going to take this floral. It's the same floral I use on that cross, and I'm just gluing the leaves there, and I just start gluing these little I don't even know what these are called. They're little, like, they almost look like baby's breath, but it's in purple. And so I'm just putting those all over. And then I've got these little purple flowers that came on the same picks. And so I'm just sticking them in there till it is completely exactly the way I want it to look. And I hope you guys really like this truck. I love these old trucks. My grandfather had one. My father had one. I absolutely love these old trucks. I used to love to sit up in them while they were driving. It just brings back some amazing memories. But here I am, just about finished. I've only got a few more to go. And like I said, this ends up looking beautiful. So I hope you guys really like this, and we'll get to the next project. Okay, now to the very last project. Here I got this hippity hoppity Easter is on its way plaque from the Dollar Tree. And I'm not going to be using that, but I want to get rid of all of that glitter. I don't want it all over the place. So I'm just using my sanding block, and I'm just going to get that all off of there. And now I'm using my little ladybug vacuum, and the link is also in my link tree. And I had covered the holes with spackling from the Dollar Tree, and once it was dry, I sanded it off. Now I'm painting this with just white apple barrel acrylic paint, and I think I end up putting 2 coats on there. And then I'm going to grab the same purple that I used on the truck, and I'm just going to paint the whole egg in this purple, and I end up doing 2 coats of purple. And now okay, now that the 2 coats are on there, I'm using my Darcy heat gun again, and I'm drying that all completely up. And then I'm going to mark the center of the egg, and so that I can draw lines, and I'm doing the lines 2 inches apart. And then what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of those little marks. Don't want those marks there. So I go ahead and paint over them. Now I'm going to grab my white chalk paint, and I'm just going to be dry brushing over this just to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. And now I'm using my white paint marker, and I'm just going over those lines, and I decided it's not quite the way I wanted it, so I grabbed a small paintbrush, and I'm going over them with that. And if you see the lines are on an angle, and that's what I want. I don't want it to be perfect. Now I've got all these little colors, and I've got these the stencil, and I'm just going to put dots on the whole egg, and I'll let you watch that while you listen to some music. Now that that is all done, I put it aside, and I'm grabbing these beads I got from Walmart. They were on clearance. I got them for $2.50. So I grab out 12 of these beads, and I put them on a skewer, and I'm just going to be painting them, and I have to work out going back and forth, around and around, just till I get them completely done. And you'll see what I end up doing with these as soon as I get them all painted. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That really helps my channel grow, as well as give me a big thumbs up and hit that notification bell. When you hit that notification bell, what happens, if you hit it twice, you end up seeing every time I upload, and if you don't, you see some of it, but at least you get some notification. So once they're dry, I take them off the skewer and I grab this jute, and I'm going to put them on the jute on the beads, or the beads on the jute, I guess. Boy, okay, I'm losing my mind today, and I'm fighting a little bit with this. I don't like putting tape on it when it's so small, so I just put it in there and I kind of swirl it and I fight with it, and then I trim it, and then I finally get all 12 of these beads on here. Then I'm going to tie a knot in one end, and I'm going to glue it on there, and then I'm going to cut it and tie the other side and glue it on. Then I'm going to grab, I've got a little bit of felt, and I'm gluing the felt over the top of that, you can see, and I'm putting a dab of glue at the end of those beads to keep them from falling behind the egg. Now this is another one of those bows I made during my tutorial a few weeks ago, and so you can see I'm just getting it on there and I'm fiddling with it, and I hope you guys really like this. And don't forget to go down in the description box. All the links are down there so that you can hop onto the playlist and see all the lovely creators that is on the playlist today. And give Heidi a shout out. She's an amazing friend. And you guys have a great day. And don't forget to be the Bible somebody reads today. And have a blessed week. Bye-bye.